Hello there guys, how's it going? This is Matt the Tomato right here, hope you're all well, and welcome to Prison Architect. So this is a game we've not actually played yet on the channel. I've played this game quite regularly in my own spare time and things like that, but I've not actually played it on the channel yet, so I want to do something a little bit different. So for those of you who have been following Europa Universalis 4 and things like that, fear not, I have a brand new series lined up to play alongside this playthrough of Prison Architect. So please feel free to check that out. Once that's uploaded, what I'll probably do is I'll pop a link in the description to that particular playthrough. So if you are following the EU4 stuff, then I'll put that in the description below. Right now, though, we are going to create a new prison in Prison Architect. So, as the title suggests, we're just going to play a little bit of a chill playthrough here. We're not really going to go overboard with all the maximum security and all the, the big guns and things like that. We're just going to have a little bit more of a chill, but we will, as we go through, play more prisons and things like that. We'll probably go ahead and play some slightly harder and more challenging playthroughs. And also, as the title suggests, we're going to play a female prison. No gender specifics here, no sexism involved, honestly, but I tend to have a go at the prisoners when they start doing things that I don't like. So, actually, considering we're a female prison, we might want to pick one of the female. Let's actually go with Safara over here. Let's go with her. So we have the Fog of War on. We'll generate some forests. I like the idea of generating forests because you can use the wood as export money, things like that. We could generate some random buildings. We'll have some failure conditions. Sure, we'll have some gangs. That'll be quite funny. Although this is going to be minimum security, we'll have some gangs. We'll have some female gangs kicking around. We'll leave all the other ones. Off for now, and let's go ahead and just create. Okay, so we're just going to create a small prison. But we will potentially have the opportunity to expand later on if we actually do some work with our bureaucracy and things like that. The first thing I tend to like to do, though, is to create an export zone straight away, and actually have an area for exports, and basically so that if we start building over these trees, we can export the wood and we can make ourselves a little bit of extra cash, which is always nice. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at our intake and things like that. We're actually going to hit number per day, and we're going to hit 0. So we're going to close our intake for now. We'll open it up pretty soon, because the next thing we're going to do is look at our grants. We can take 2. I always like to start with the top 2, so we want to create a basic detention centre, and we want to create an administration centre to have all the offices and things like that. I always like to start off with that sort of thing. So how are we going to design it? Now, obviously, this is going to be minimum security only, so we're not going to have to worry about separating different zones and things like that. But one of the things you do get with minimum security is they're not particularly violent, they don't usually fight and things like that, but one thing they do like to do is dig tunnels. So we're going to have to be watching out for that. They like to dig tunnels, and they like to try and escape through tunnels and things like that, which is a little bit annoying in some cases, but I find it funny because you need to watch out for things like that. So, of course, we need to build ourselves a basic detention centre. So if the deliveries, we're going to be coming in over here. So let's just say... Let's go ahead and build ourselves a piece of land over here. We'll build a large jail door in there. And obviously what we'll do is, for now, we'll actually lock it open, because we kind of need to keep it open otherwise, because a large jail door requires guards to open them, and of course if you have no guards you can't open them. Right, so I'm sort of thinking of creating like an entrance here. Put that up. That over there. Okay, so we have our first building. I'm thinking of like creating some sort of weird pathway in here and putting in another door so we can have double security over here at the reception area, because this is basically going to be the reception area slash holding cell. So the holding cell is basically for overflow prisoners and things like that. It's useful to have This door as well, I'll go ahead and lock open to keep that open all the time. Eventually we will of course close it down. So garbage and stuff over here. Now we of course do need our power and things like that. So let's go into utilities. We'll build ourselves a power station. Now we've got to be careful where we put this. Because if there is, obviously this is minimum security, so it's not too bad, but if there are any riots and things like that, they can actually take out your power supply and things like that, which is really annoying. So let's go ahead and put in the capacitor, and I usually like to build the water pump relatively nearby. Let's put that in over there, and obviously naturally we're going to want to bring in the electricity into here. So let's allow that. Are you nearly done? Yes, okay. I think that has to be done like that. I'm not sure whether it actually connects inwards or not. I'm not actually sure how that's supposed to work. And then of course we do need to link that up as well to get the power going, and eventually we'll want to bring in the water. But basically what's going to happen is we're going to divide this room into two. We'll have half of it as the reception. So obviously that's where you receive the prisoners first. Where are we? Reception, there we go. Not actually part of the criterion at the start, but I like to put it in. So reception area, and then what I usually do is we'll split it up like this. Oh bugger! I remember the holding needs to be 4x4. Right, so that's wrong. Materials, cancel. Yeah, the holding cell needs to be 5x5 in minimum size, which is slightly annoying, but you have to remember to do it. To demolish that, yeah, that doesn't have a particular size requirement. But as I said, eventually what's going to happen is the holding cell might eventually disappear. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so we'll do something like that. And that, I think what we'll do. So I'll get that sorted. So let's go rooms, holding cell here. Yes, 5x5. Thought it was. We need a toilet and some benches. So objects. Really? Yeah. I was about to label this a little bit differently, but what I will do is that instead. We'll just make that whole thing. Probably better, yeah, because I was actually going to make that area into a shower, but then I realised that you need a toilet in a holding cell. So let's do that. We'll put in a couple of shower heads there. And naturally we'll put in a couple of drains, otherwise the water just leaks everywhere. And then we'll have a couple of bunk beds in the holding cell. We're not going to put too much in here. Maybe that tops. Because bunk beds fit two prisoners, so we can actually fit 6 prisoners in there, which is nice. Right, then we'll put an office desk. We'll have a chair. A table to put the uniforms on and things like that is going to be important. I think we also need a bench in here. I've sort of messed this up a little bit. This is a very bad holding cell. Right. What I really should have done is put the... Right. This thing's not going to last, though, so I'm not going to worry too much about it. I'm not actually going to have this for long. So this will be one big reception eventually. So I'm not too bothered by that. But what we do need is a pipe job. So let's do that now. You don't want to build large pipes up to your particular utilities, because, in particular the toilets, because people can actually escape through large pipes pretty easily. which is not nice. So I like to build smaller pipes up to the particular utilities like the toilet and the shower and things like that, because you can dig through large pipe very, very easily. So you got to be pretty careful. Right, and then of course objects, large jail door. We'll put one of those in there, and then basically this door is going to be the access to the whole prison. And we'll probably have some security, maybe build some offices up here or something like that, and we'll work it out from there. So they're just installing some pipes, getting this going. And eventually what we'll do is, once they've actually finished all this work, although we could do that now actually, we'll put in a jail door in there. So then that encloses that, so people can't just walk out and escape. You need a guard to open it and things like that. So lock open. And we've got lots of trees in here, so that's plenty of export. So once he's fitted that door, we will of course lock it open. But and there you go. So the problem now with the holding cell is that there are no canteens available. So that is the next job, is going to be to build a large building somewhere over here. I think I like to leave a little bit of a gap, because I like to leave large pathways for prisoners to walk down, because they feel like they've got space. Of course, if it's all too crammed in and things like that, then they start complaining. They don't like it. So we'll leave 2 there. We'll have a large pathway along there. We'll also use that to access other parts of the prison, so that'll be helpful as well. And I'm just going to build a whacking great big building there, like that, with a couple of doors. So we've got one door over there and one door there, and so we'll have a canteen, we'll have a kitchen, and of course we do need to enclose all of this in as well. So don't worry about that. We will get that sorted. Otherwise, our prisoners can just walk out. Right, now of course you can't do anything bureaucratic until you have the warden, and for that you need the offices. That's one of the reasons I took the administration centre mission, because you need to get the warden and the offices anyway, so I like there to be a bit of a prize for getting that, to top up the finances and that sort of jazz. Won't hire any guards or anything just yet, because they of course have a wage, so we don't want to pay wages for no particular reason here at the moment. Of course, all these trees that are being chopped down are all wood that's going toward the export, so that tops up a little bit of the money, which is great, and I like that. It's one of the reasons, well, it is the reason why I put the export room in first. Of course, later on you can build workshops, you can have carpentry programs, and you can actually sell license plates and things like that, which obviously sell for a lot more than just the raw wood. Okay, once this building's built, we'll get the... There we go, perfect. I've got the auto lights feature on. It automatically puts in lights. I don't like manually positioning them. It's quite annoying. So we're going to want to run the electricity through here. Like that. And we're also going to want to run the water through here, because we're going to have some... well, we're going to have sinks and things like that in the kitchens. So, rooms, we're going to want to put in a canteen. Kitchen doesn't have to be that big, so we can make the canteen pretty large. And so what we'll do here then is we'll do this, put in a wall, and in that particular gap we'll have a staff door. Now a staff door can be unlocked by any member of staff, but prisoners can't go through it. So that's a good door. I like that. It's not very strong though, so if you have a riot it'll be quickly broken down. But we don't have to worry too much about that here. And then we need kitchen. So these of course require different things. So the kitchen requires cooker, fridge and sink. Okay, so let's put in... We can always add more to this later on. Let's go 3 cookers. We might want more than that actually in terms of fridges. I'll actually put a bin in the corner over there. And we need a sink. So let's put that in. Yeah, I think we're going to need more than that. Let's put in another fridge there. Okay, so of course these all require power and stuff like that. And we also need a serving table in the... Oh, look at that, that's perfect. Brilliant. So I could fit an extra serving table if I wanted to. And let's get some seating areas. So we'll do that. So obviously this is quite small at the moment, but the idea is we're going to be building this up later on. So, pretty cramped, it's got to be said. If I was doing a maximum security canteen, I'd leave a lot more space than this. But I put 2 entrances, so that's okay. So that'll all be good. Tables. Right, so we need to sort out the utilities for our bits and bobs here. It might actually be worth just doing that, actually. And then, of course, the sink needs some pipes, so once again I put in some small pipes. Not so bad in the kitchen, because not many people are going to try and dig their way out of the kitchen, but what they will do is they'll dig their way out of their cells. So so this should have this should work pretty soon. Okay, so I'm thinking once we've got ourselves secure, oh, we need a shower and a yard. Yeah, that's true. Actually, can I designate this shower without messing that up? No, I can't do that, I'm afraid. So, we're going to have to do that still. Right, stop. Actually, what we could do is that. Oh, there, because then it's not enclosed, is it? No, okay. Fair enough. Right. Okay, so what's happened? We have reached our power limit, so we need to build another capacitor. I'll build 2 preemptively, because we do have some money kicking around. So the power broke down because we ran out of power. Good job we had no prisoners in at that time, because that would make them cranky. Excellent, and then let's switch you back on. There we go. Wow, that got to the top pretty quick there. Right, so next job. Oh, excellent, a notebook page. Little extra things that you can pick up in the game, things like that. Polaroids, notebook pages, all that jazz. Always good. Okay, so next thing, obviously we need a yard, shower, things like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to build pathway around the back of the kitchen here that will sort of extend that way. That will eventually do that, and then I'm thinking maybe put the yard in the middle here, because I kind of want to build around this. The only thing is I'm making them congregate in one single area, which is not necessarily the best idea. It really isn't the best idea, to be honest. But I'm thinking about putting the yard like somewhere over here. We'll make it relatively big, not too big though. And so then we have to build around this to enclose it, of course. We'll have a pathway that runs around the back of the yard. So we'll just do that for now. And then we'll seal that off as well, because at that point, once that's sealed off, we could actually allow prisoners in here, because then we'd have a looping area that that they wouldn't be able to escape from, like physically just be able to walk out of. Of course, when you take prisoners in, you get paid. So apart from grants and things like that, it's the main way of making money is to have to take on prisoners. And if their behaviour is good enough, and you can create parole rooms, things like that, they can get released early. And if they get released early, you get bonus cash, which is nice. Right, so we have got a pile of food in here and things like that. We will need to hire some cooks. That is true. Okay, so yard, holding cells. So we could actually say intake. We can actually only take 3 minimum security at the moment, but we will take 3 on here. They usually arrive at 8 in the morning, I think, is when they arrive. And you get $300 per minimum security There we go. Excellente. Right. So that is basically... Oh, you need to be secure behind a door. I forgot about that. So let's... Actually, probably what would probably be the easiest thing to do is just to grab a door and put in a double door there. And then that will be ready to rock and roll. Yeah, you can still get out there. Yeah, you can get out this way and out. That's fine. There we go. Excellent. The yard is built. So, yeah, at the moment we don't actually have... Okay, I think we'll get some staff on board, though. So let's go ahead and grab 2 guards. And 2 cooks. Get ready to take the first intake of prisoners here. In the meantime, though, I'm thinking about starting to go with the administration centre, so let's start on that. So, I'm just trying to... I'm going to use the planning tool here, actually. This is a wonderful little tool. So obviously we'll have a pathway that maybe goes up here, and then we'll build maybe our first cell block in there. We'll probably have something in there, not really sure what, but we'll see. And then what we need to do is... So an office needs to be 4x4. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, that would incur a wall there, so I can't do that. So we could just build a very long line of offices here. 2, 3, 4. So we could do that. 1, 2, 3, 4 there. 4 there. 1, 2, 3, 4 there. So maybe just have 4 offices for the moment. And then we might be able to extend that past here, so we could have a pathway that goes along the back here. We might be able to do something like that, maybe. Have a couple of extra ones in like that. And extend the pathway round to here. That seems pretty good. So, what I'm going to do there then is, if that's going to be our block, then the foundation... It's a bit awkward because you can't actually do that. So, so what I might do then is build the foundation. Now see, that's just a brick wall, so I don't need to bother with that. And it'll be indoors. I want that to be outdoors. So actually, let's do this. Pretty much like that is what I'm going to be looking to do. And then we can build individual like staff doors. So let's build one there, one there, like that, and maybe in sort of a bit of a mirror like that. Try and mirror these offices as best we can. Let's see what that sort of ends up creating here. We could actually not have these locked open anymore. Right, so what the hell has happened here then? Okay, that's actually fair dues. I'm quite happy with that. Brilliant. That's done exactly what I wanted it to do. Awesome. That really happens. So next thing, of course, is to bring the electricity in. So run that along there like that, and something like that maybe, because this will connect to future areas. We don't need any water in any offices unless you decide to build something that needs... Unless you want to give them a toilet, you can, but to be honest, what I might do is I might just have a staff room that probably has a toilet in or something like that. So let's get these guys to build the utilities first before I fill in the walls. I don't actually need that there anymore, because obviously we have doors there now. There we go. Now we can see what we're doing. Yeah, so that'll be a pathway around the back there that can be accessed. Actually, what I might do is just get rid of that piece of wall. It's a narrow pathway, but it doesn't matter because it's only going to be staff that are going to be using this. If prisoners were using it, I'd make it bigger. But we're not doing that. Okay, they did that within pretty good time. So let's now build our walls, interior walls, I should say. Oh, that's a door. And this will eventually be some sort of room. It's not got foundations though, so not really sure what that will end up being. Could just make it a path. But then I don't know what to. I don't really know. But we'll get these little pieces built anyway, because if I forget about them, then what will happen is prisoners will end up escaping. And stuff like that. Not that. No, 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 no. I need to remind myself that that needs putting there. Okay, so prisoners are going to arrive in 2 hours. So yes, it is 8 o'clock. Excellent. Right. So yeah, we have stuff like this. Now, of course, we could maybe hire a janitor to keep this place clean, but we can't do that yet because obviously we need bureaucracy to do that. So rooms. We need to dedicate these areas to be offices. Now, I usually create 6 offices because in the end, usually there are 6 members of staff that require one. So, office desk, chair, and filing cabinet. So, let's make this kind of just mirror these. Okay, a bit of export. Like that. We'll put in a chair. Whoa, really? There we go. Rotate it, and filing cabinet. Now sometimes I like to put in, if I'm building a little bit more luxurious, I like to put in like a drinks machine or something like that. It's usually quite a good idea. Right, and we have some prisoners on the way. So we have 3 prisoners coming in, so I can take another 3 more because obviously we have 6 room for 6 at the moment, so I could take another 3 more if I wanted to, and yeah, we'll just get the prisoner intake for another 3. So here are prisoners. Who we got here? Kira Cameron, what did you do? Video game piracy, indie video game piracy, and a bit of robbery. Okay, so you could be a spotter bother. Okay, who we got here? Evelyn and Suzanne. Okay. No trouble, guys, alright? Girls, I should say. Right. So, of course, our current prisoner capacity is deemed to be 3 of 0 because it counts just standard cells. So, technically we're over capacity, but we're not really because of the holding cell and things like that. Okay, there is definitely no way out here, is there? No. Okay, cool. Right, so the next job is temporarily, this wall will probably eventually become foundation, but the next job is just to seal that in so I can open this out to then put in a warden. This work guy is actually stuck in here, so you might as well demolish that then. Maybe we'll put some phones or something in there later on, or something. We'll just have that as an open area that can be used for anything. I don't know what to do with this right now. Maybe we can just destroy that entire wall and have this as an open area. I don't know. I absolutely have no idea what to do with that right now. Or we could make the reception be... Actually, what we could do is we could keep the holding cell as an overflow, and we could just extend the size of the reception to come up here. It's not a bad idea. Right, so once that little piece of wall is built, there we go, I can now dedicate... or assign this bit to be demolished. Now, normally what I do, well, what we would do with bureaucracy is we would have a guard deployed in here, because at the moment there's no guard in here, so we can't actually see what these girls are doing in here. We have no idea. They might be digging for all we know, so we can't really see what's going on in there. But what I can do now is actually hire our warden. There we go. Which unlocks bureaucracy, which now allows us to unlock a series of things here. But I'm going to do that in the next episode. So that's it for now then. Thanks for watching. If you like Prison Architect, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Any recommendations, advice, feedback, or anything, or requests, drop them in the comments below. But that's it for now. See you later, guys, and join me next time for more from myself, Matt the Tomato, and our female prison in Prison Architect. See you later, guys.